Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm. This is episode number 12, and if you would allow me the opportunity to kind of show you around a couple of things, just want to kind of give you a very quick overview on some of the changes that have been made to the farm. Some of these were I talked about in previous videos, and actually, one of these actually, we'll go this way. One of these actually, I had mentioned that wouldn't be able to do, and didn't even really pay attention because after the update that I took, and I'm recording this episode on Wednesday morning, and I hope to get this episode edited and uploaded and YouTube do their thing and everything, so that this episode will come out on Friday. I'm hoping that's the case. We're going to just run over here. But if you remember, I had mentioned that it took the update and everything, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to take advantage of selling the horse paddock. And I'm guessing I'm still not, so I'm not too worried about this building here. But look what disappeared. Look what disappeared off the map in taking the update. All of the horse jumping apparatuses that were out here, those are gone, and that is cool, because now we can use this. Most likely, we will put greenhouses in this area unless we can come up with something better to use this little plot of land for. We could mow it. We could certainly mow it and get hay or silage off of here, but I think that we've got enough fields for that purpose. And I think that we will utilize this as a place to place some greenhouses, some placeables. We still have our we still have our pigs over here. Of course, we can't sell it because we didn't do a complete map restart, but we do have that. We do have that over there, and we may put some pigs over there. Mr. Thornton does like us raising pigs, and it will also help us stay a bit busy during the time. It'll help us stay busy during our downtime, like during winter and when we have our other chores and stuff like that done. All right, so let's just back our gator out, and then I will go and show you one more little thing that I did. I talked about putting a manure heap down so that we could spread some manure or sell the manure, do something with manure if we wanted to. And I did find a very small manure heap extension, um, and it slotted in very nicely where I had hoped that I could put it. And I think I showed you this in the previous episode. And so it's going to work out, I believe, quite nicely. It only holds 30,000 liters of manure, and that will be fine. I think that what we could do is we could put down a larger manure heap, maybe somewhere else, and we could always consider moving the manure if need be from the smaller heap to the larger one. Or, like I said, we could always sell it. We may do the BGA later, next year. But this is where the manure heap went. I did my best to kind of level this off. I didn't want to take out these trees or anything, but I did my best to bring this up, and I think it looks quite nicely. And the cool thing about placing the manure heap here is that the cows don't tend to walk over here. The cows do walk around here, and I didn't want to come back here and see a cow standing on top of our manure heap, playing King of the Mountain, or Queen of the Mountain, I suppose, in this case. And so that's why I put the manure heap where I placed it. So we will just close that gate. We're going to head over, and we're going to do a favor for another farmer. This particular farmer has fallen on pretty tough times, and they've pretty much just thrown their hands up and said, "We quit. We're done." And Mr. Thornton has swooped in, and of course myself and Sid is already over there in the tractor tipper getting ready for what we're going to be doing this morning. And we will help him out and get that field cleared. Now, I think Mr. Thornton's going to do a deal for the field. What we're going to do is right now we're going to move we're going to actually, it's harvesting corn, and we're going to move the corn and we're going to silo it in our silos over here at our farm. And we will work out how we're going to divvy that up regarding the, our time, labor, diesel, etc. We are using his equipment. He's got a very nice case combine, and we're going to be using his case combine with our tractor and tipper, and hopefully we'll get this job done pretty soon, because we do have another one that we need to take care of as well and try to get that done in the next day or so. That is going to be a sunflower field that we are going to harvest as well for the particular individual. So we're just moving around this direction. As you know, we purchased the field to our left. That was the free field that came with the base game, or with the original map. We took advantage of that, and of course now when you update, that field is no longer free. But we're not playing that closely with money and everything. But that is where that field is. This cornfield is right adjacent to it, kind of between that field and the garden center, I believe. I believe the garden center is the sell point. That, let's see, we need to make sure that this is moved out of the way, because this is the route that our tractor tipper is going to take. All right, we'll get out of here and jump into our case combine. Now, I'm going to show you a picture here in just a moment, I think, if I remember to do this. And I when I took the HD textures, when I placed the HD textures into the game, um, or into the map, and I did that some time ago, even before the updated version of the map came out. I noticed that the real world branding was also an add-on that OxygenDavid provided to be able to enhance um, the to be able to enhance the gameplay, the realism, the immersion, etc. With everything. And so I'm not real sure why it's saying no driver with same target available on my drive control, because he sat right there. Um, so we might need to send Sid around again, make the circuit again one more time. But anyway, that dealership where we buy all of our equipment for our farm here on Calmsden Farm, in the real world, is an authorized case, JCB, and I think one other brand, equipment brand, and so obviously we've been playing with. Let me just jump out right here just a second. Bear with me. All right, it's a wonder that I even manage to do anything correctly if I don't set things up in the correct fashion. So we are good to go. So anyway, that dealership is a case authorized case distributorship, and what I'm going to show you on some pictures, and I'll do that here when I edit the video, is that you will see that there's some case equipment parked out. It's basically a Google Earth snapshot. And you'll see that there's some case equipment parked out in the parking lot. There's even they even have, if you go to their website, their real world website, they have a case 8250 that they have for sale. It's a used one. And of course, from what I understand, the 8250 and the 9250 are essentially the same combine, with the exception of the 9250 has the larger engine in it. I believe they hold the same amount of grain or corn or whatever it is that you're harvesting, but it's essentially the same size combine. Now, so there is an opportunity, because I am wanting to kind of better immerse myself into this map, and I think that as a result of that, I want to take advantage of the possibility of upgrading some of our equipment, replacing some of our equipment, just a little bit, and we'll probably go with the Case Combine. Now, whether we actually keep this one or not is kind of yet to be determined. I have always said that I kind of reserve the right to swap out equipment in my Let's Plays as I feel necessary, and this was obviously something that I have kind of recently found out and kind of have been thinking about how I could get things slotted in here into the gameplay. And obviously, larger equipment is going to help me out tremendously, because what it is going to allow me to do is do jobs like harvesting that does take a considerable amount of time. The thing about Calmsden Farm, and I think anyone that is playing this map knows it, is that we typically don't see a British style farming map that has the size of fields on it that we have with Calmsden Farm. I mean, the fields on this map are huge, especially compared to other British style farming maps that I've certainly played, like Polbar Park Farm, the Western Shore, places like that. The field sizes are much smaller in relation to what we're seeing here with Calmsden Farm. And of course, I'm not complaining at all, because I do tend to like the slightly larger fields. I don't necessarily want to go with something as big as, say, the North Dakota map. And my gosh, those fields are huge. But having a field where you can spend 30 minutes or so in it doing a task, doing a chore, whether it's harvesting, cultivating, planting, or whatever, is fun, and it kind of helps with the storylines or the Let's Plays and everything as well, because it gives us a little bit more to do. And so I am considering basically upgrading some of our equipment. And again, the combine would probably be one that we would do. And again, I kind of recognize that a combine of this size ordinarily would be completely out of place on a British style farming map. But I think with Calmsden, again, kind of the way that it is set up with the larger fields, I think it's going to be perfect. Plus, like I said, the 8250 is essentially, I believe, the same size combine, physical size-wise, height, width, etc. And they are selling it at that store, so obviously it is being used somewhere within the Cotswolds area, if not right here on Calmsden Farm. All right, well, oops, and we have a full grain tank, so we're going to set here for just a moment. I will open our chute, which hopefully will call our guy over, and we will back up here just a little bit, because I don't want that water to cause him some problems, and hopefully he is going to be on his way, and he is. The magic of drive control. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am a believer. I am now a believer in drive control. It is fantastic what it is capable of doing, and hopefully this ravine is not going to cause him any problems. Come on, Sid, you know how to do it. We'll just watch and see what happens. But I have become a believer in drive control. Yeah, go ahead, bounce over that ditch. No problem, no problem. Mr. Thornton has pockets. They're not that deep though, so do be careful. Um, but anyway, I am I'm having fun. I'm having fun with Calmsden Farm. All right, so we will see what Sid is going to do there, if he is going to be capable of getting. He should have probably made his circle just a little bit bigger there, and I think he realized that as he makes his turn again. When I logged into YouTube this morning, I was granted, or I was presented with a birthday wish, and I guess YouTube is fully aware that it is my YouTube birthday. I'm not talking about my physical date that I was born, that Jerry was born, but my YouTube channel was born coming very soon. And what I understand is, and and I looked and I remember this. I created my channel on the 11th of February, and it did take a little while. It was a few days or maybe a couple of weeks before I released my very first video, and that video was actually a car mechanic simulator video. I did a Twitch live stream with that. I had been on Twitch before I started producing video content for YouTube, kind of doing the Twitch live stream thing. And like I said, I used to do flight sim, but kind of got tired of the toxic community. And then soon after I did that Twitch live stream, which I uploaded the video on YouTube for, I started producing content on YouTube, and the next video that I created was a how to set up your Logitech controller with FarmSim 15. Um, that was that was kind of a difficult thing that I found in getting things set up with ATS and ETS2. It just was almost automatic, but with FarmSim it was a little more difficult. And then it just kind of went from there. I did some videos on soil mod. If you guys played FarmSim 15, you might remember that really awesome, really precursor to Seasons. And you could say precursor to Seasons, but in reality, and I wish you hadn't went back to the main farm. But anyway, I guess you could say precursor to Seasons, because it really did some things that, the base game FarmSim 15 didn't do. But in so many ways, so many aspects, the soil mod was much, in some ways, much better than Seasons. Obviously, it really didn't, change textures or anything like that. But what it did, what it allowed us to simulate, I suppose, is the way to look at it, with our farms and everything, was, various soil conditions, um, the need to put down different types of fertilizer based on what our soil conditions were, even the need for increasing our moisture levels. So in other words, watering our fields. And here with FarmSim, even with Seasons, it's just naturally assumed that Mother Nature takes care of the moisture that our crops need in order to be able to grow, and that's cool, because it's a little easier that way. But so many people, and I happen to be one of them, would love to be able to simulate, irrigation, whether it be the large, like the large sprinkler systems that we see on fields that kind of rotate around or pivot systems, I think, as it were. Love to be able to simulate that. But anyway, that was kind of the deal. And then my very first series, which was again probably a few months in, was on Paradise Hills and FarmSim 15. It was kind of kind of the tail end of FarmSim 15, or the life of FarmSim 15, and got started. And I owe my start to, and I've said this before in recent weeks, I owe my start to Mike, Reefy 1952, whom I had been watching, and I had met Reefy through PCSG, which was an online farm sim. Well, really, it was more than farm sim. We also talked about truck sim and had forums set up for truck sim and such like that. But it was a community that was set up, and its real purpose was to try to eliminate some of the toxic behavior that had been seen both in the farming simulator forums, because that's kind of a place that, well, it's not the best place in the world to be if you want to reduce controversy and such in your life. And then some of the other forums and stuff set up. And we even, that was the start of my education, if you will, on ensuring that mods were uploaded by the original mod author, and we had a mod upload mechanism, upload download mechanism on PCSG where modders could upload their mods and folks could download them and everything. And then, of course, you all know that when PCSG went dark, um, it really left a gap um, in our community from the perspective of a place that was reputable, where folks could download mods and everything. So that really, um, to help out a few of the modders like CCS 101, for example, who was using PCSG, and when PCSG went dark, he was kind of left without a place to host his mods. And so we were able to, I set up simplysafemods.com, and of course CCS 101 and Bullet Bill and many others were some of the first modders, map creators and such, to come over and join Simply Safe Mods. All right, I'm going to start closing this episode out here in just a few minutes. I wanted to share something else with you um, that occurred not too long ago. And this is kind of the story of Jerry, if you will. Um, and it's funny because the house that I'm going to start telling you more about my life. Kind of being raised on my granddad's farm. My granddad had already passed away, but we lived a number of years on that farm, and I want to talk a little bit about that because I've learned a great deal from talking to my dad about his time on the farm and everything, and so I want to share some of that information with you. But before all of that, after we lived on the farm for a while, we moved to why did he not empty that corn? Does corn not go in our grain silo? That will be interesting. I'll have to find that out. But I'll do that off camera. Before we when we moved into town, I changed schools, and we moved, and my mom and dad bought a house. And when I was in about the first, and we did this when I started the first grade. So my kindergarten year, I went to one school, and then for first grade through my senior year, I went to the second school in town. And so when I say town, I mean I'm still talking about a very small community of just a few thousand people. My high school graduating class was 50. We had 50 kids in our class. But this house that I lived in, and I don't know why I did this. I'm going to show you a photo here in just a minute, because I got a message on Facebook the other day. I'd completely forgotten I had done this. But I got a message from Facebook the other day from a girl, or a woman now, obviously, a couple of years younger than me. She was in 2 classes down from me in school. And she contacted me and she said, "Hey, by the way, I bought your house that you grew up in a number of years ago." She'd been living there for almost 20 years, I think. And I'm like, okay, well, that's really cool. She said, "Hey, I was wondering, do you have any pictures of the house, the way it looked when I lived there, 40, about 38 years ago? I haven't lived in this house for 38 years." And I said, "Well, I might have some." And she said, I want to send you a photo of something." She says, "Do you remember?" And she says, "I'm not complaining," but she says, "Do you remember you carving your name into the windowsill in my bedroom?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" And of course, we're having this on Facebook chat, so it's text messages going back and forth. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I do." And I told my wife, I said, "Yeah, I remember doing this." I had forgotten about it, of course, because time, my brain only holds so much information, and it's got to, I've got to take stuff out to put new stuff in, it seems like, especially these days. But so I'm like, "Yeah, I remember doing this. I was like the first grade, and she says, "I'm going to send you a picture of that." She says, it's still there, and she did not buy the house from my parents, obviously, because she was still in school. We sold the house my senior year, and she would have been a sophomore at that point in time. So this was before, she got graduated from high school and got married. So my parents sold the house to somebody, and I don't know how long they lived there, and I don't know, for example, I don't know, um, you know, I just know that this particular girl, this woman, bought it 20 years ago. Now her daughter lives in it, and but this carving of my name, and I'm going to show you this picture right now, has stood the test of time. It has been there for 20 years, or no, it's been there for um, 48 years. I figured out it was about 48, 47 to 48 years I did this ago. 'Cause I'm 55 now, so about 48 to 47 years ago I did this, and I apologized to her. I said, "I'm so sorry that I did this. Boys will be boys, kids will be kids, all of this kind of stuff. That what else can I really say about it?" I said, "I'm sorry that I did it, but I said I am just excited. I'm just tickled to know that people, not only her, because she's lived in this house for 20 years, but then the other people that lived in the house, that bought the house from my parents, or maybe bought the house from them, because I don't know how many times the house has been sold over the last 38 years or so. But in any event, it's just so interesting that this has more or less stood the test of time. And again, it's, you can tell I'm a child with my handwriting, and but it's just so intriguing. So my question to you, my friends here watching this video, is, have you ever bought a house that had signs of, you know life in it from before you, either like markings on a wall for like the height as kids have grown up. Now I know my friend, Fury Machine Gaming, obviously is living in the house that he grew up in, I believe. So, that may be there just from his time that he lived in the house. But I'm just curious, and it's got me and my wife thinking that, eventually we're going to sell our house in Denver, and we're probably going to relocate to Texas. The cost of living here is just, not it's really high, and I think that part of our retirement plan is that we can kind of cash in and do something, better, and have a better life if we move to a place that has, a lower cost of living. But anyway, we were thinking that, if we buy a house that has, you know either like growth marks on the wall, or somebody has etched their name into something like this, we would probably leave it, because that tells the history of the house. That tells that, the house has been loved, it's been lived in. And those are just my closing remarks. So I don't know where Sid is. Hopefully he'll be coming around the corner here in just a moment. But thank you so much for watching. I do very much appreciate it. We will be back together for the next episode very, very soon. Again, hopefully this video is going to appear on the channel on Friday if I don't have any problems editing and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. You will see this on Friday. Now, my dear friend Fury Machine Gaming has taken some time off. I hope he's got a video coming soon, and he had messaged me saying that he was going to kind of re-engineer some things with his Let's Play on Calmsden. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has done, and I'm sure you all are as well. But he just needed a few days to shift gears, and he is fine. So hopefully we will see something from him soon. And I hope that you will return soon here to Calmsden Farm, Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and let's virtually farm together here on these wonderful farms. Thanks again for watching. There's Sid, and he emptied. Excellent. Well, I'm glad. I don't know why he didn't empty the first time. He made the circuit around, but anyway, we will figure that out. So thanks for watching, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.